next time a mistake comes around. Either way, we're going to find out which champions will be played today. Got a feeling that Yasuo might not be making it through the banning phase, but up until now, only a single ban coming out, and that will be Ziggs taken away by Alliance.
So Twitch available for ban, Kale available for ban. If you want to go the jungle route, Shook and Impaler, you could consider taking that Lee Sin away from Shook, who plays a very, very scary Lee Sin jungle. So slow start to the picks and bans as far as Supa Hot Crew are concerned, and a little more decisive on the side of Alliance.
Yep, Kale taken by the Supa Hot Crew, Yasuo banned, of course, by Alliance. Irelia are going to be removed from Wicked's possession as well. What will Alliance finish off this game with? Will those two men on your screen even be targeted when it comes to these final two bans? Both Nyph and KaSing have had their fair share of brilliant moments over these last couple of weeks.
And, you know, in terms of Alliance, they also have so many different champions to consider. You do have that Anivia in the mid lane. You do have Orianna if Froggen wants to go that route. Tabzz has played Kog'Maw in the past, so there's a lot of these priority champions still available. And with Lee Sin and Evelyn and Elise still up, it also means for Shook and Impaler, they could go that route. Impaler has been sort of trending towards Jarvan in the last few weeks, so we need to see if the other champions are up. Does he still want to run Jarvan, or is he going to go for the S-tier junglers, as many people refer to them?
Final ban. Unsurprisingly here, though, was Kassadin from the red side. That's left Twisted Fate up and available, and we've already seen Alliance picking up Twisted Fate as a first pick in previous games, so we'll see if that continues to ring true here today. Froggen's certainly going to be comfortable on the Card Master, and we'll see if he can bring the A-level game that we've seen from him before.
Yeah, and you know, with the first pick Twisted Fate, Alliance have the option to counter-pick some of the other lanes. They know what they're going to get themselves into. A lot of the assassins are not necessarily as powerful in this mid lane, so if Froggen wants to run the likes of an Exhaust, he can run that route. What I like from Alliance is just their diversity, depending on what champions they're locking. They can go Twitch as well as Nami. I mean, Nyph has been playing such a great Nami in the past. And if this is a Lulu, it could be Lulu support, or it could be Lulu top lane. It's another option that it's multifaceted. You can put it in either of those positions.
Well, one thing we know for sure for the Supa Hot Crew, bottom lane is already locked in here, taking Lucian and Braum, and currently hovering over Olaf. Now, Impaler last week, we did see him bring in something a little bit new to the table, ran with that jungle Rengar. I'm sure you guys are all aware now, even did mention it earlier on, Rengar actually is globally banned along with Shen and Nidalee here this week, so there's no Rengar on the cards. Will he try something a little bit different? Olaf, I seem to remember an Olaf coming out from Impaler in the spring split, if my mind serves me correctly.
Yes, it was fairly early on when he was still trying to find a substitute for Vi being banned out. It was something that happened so frequently that Impaler was looking for other champions. And unfortunately, we're getting excited because it does look like he's cycled through to a few other champions for the time being. We'll get those picks back on your screen in a moment. But I think the interesting story for me so far is Alliance's side. Where is that Lulu going to go? Is that a support Lulu? Is that a top lane Lulu? It's something that we need to keep a very close eye on as the picks and bans plays out.
Well, I can tell you at least that we have Elise and Shyvana locked in for the Supa Hot Crew on the red side. Alliance now down to their final two picks, and you're going to get to look at our lovely mugs while we guide you through the rest of those bans and the picks. Alliance currently have locked in Zyra and will take Caitlyn as well for Tabzz as the AD carry. So Lulu top lane, Elise in jungle, Twisted Fate in the middle lane, and a duo of Caitlyn and Zyra. There we go. Bans and picks back on your screen. So we know the Alliance lineup. What are the Supa Hot Crew now going to finish with? Looking for a mid lane here for SELFIE, up against Froggen's Twisted Fate.
I love everything about Alliance's team composition. They have got Engage in the form of Destiny to Gold card. If you land a Sonic Wave with Lulu's Speed Boost, you can have Lee Sin kicks going in. So there is sort of direct engage with Twisted Fate as well as indirect engage with the Lee Sin Lulu combination. All of that is backed up by the fact that Zyra can count as your disengage. If Braum, Elise, and Shyvana jump into you, Stranglethorns instantly negates that threat, and it allows Alliance to reposition and pick the targets that they want to take down. Also with Tabzz going Caitlyn, last week he was the first Caitlyn that rushed the Infinity Edge into static Shiv and did a very, very good job at controlling the pace of the game. So I like Alliance's team comp. I think they have a lot of tools to do a multitude of things. They can play pick, they can play disengage, they can play split push. And it just depends on how they want to actually, or how the laning phase goes before how they execute the rest of their team comp.
RalleZ for the mid lane for SELFIE. Not something that we've been seeing really at all, to be honest, here in Europe, that RalleZ coming in. And I'm interested to see it from SELFIE's side of things because he's had a hit and miss time on some of these newer champions that he's brought in.
Very quickly, he has played RalleZ in the past and his positioning was not particularly strong in team fights. His laning phase was okay, and we need to see if he's learned and he's upgraded his RalleZ talents, especially against a Zyra, who's going to be knocking him up, and a Lulu, who's going to be slowing him down.
Well, guys, after our featured matchup, which mid laner do you think will perform best in this match? Tweet hashtag Froggen or hashtag SELFIE, and you can even tweet a selfie if you want to, at LOL Esports, and we'll see what you think. It is, of course, going to be Twisted Fate versus RalleZ. Interesting matchup, this one. The Supa Hot Crew coming into this game as underdogs, as everyone in the league right now is when they come into a match against Alliance.
Yeah, they really are. And you know, Supa Hot Crew's composition is very much about creating a death ball and just throwing themselves at the team. Elise, Braum, as well as RalleZ just want to be running at you with Shyvana flanking from the sidelines. Assuming Nyph plays to the same level that we've seen him play in the last 2 weeks, those Zyra Stranglethorns can be absolutely game-changing. The one thing I do like from Supa Hot Crew's team is it does also scale very well. RalleZ is going to get better and better. Shyvana is going to get better and better. And I think they can handle the split push that Alliance potentially can put down, but we need to see how intelligently they play the map because they have set a pretty high standard in previous matches.
We'll have to see if they can stay in touch with the game long enough to get to those later stages as well. We're going to find out though, guys, because we are going into game for our final match of the day. It's Alliance taking on the Supa Hot Crew, and what a cracker this one may just be if the Supa Hot Crew can battle there, and I want to say inner demons because that might be a little bit too strong, but push away the fact that they are a new team there, bringing in KaSing as a support player to replace Failure, and we'll see how that one all works out for them.
Yeah, KaSing has had a very good showing, and I think this is going to be the first Braum game that we've seen him on. So another new champion adding to this new player on the LCS stage's performance. I'm a particularly big fan of his Nami play, and I think he's had a very good showing on Nami in the past, but a very early pickup for this Braum. The possibility to punish with Lucian and Braum is very, very high.
30 seconds until
Also, the possibility not to punish if you don't time things right could be a problem for them. Either way, it's going to be a tough game, I think, against the... Oh, Mimer going a little bit deep from this one. Actually going to be getting caught out. The slow coming down. Will have his burnout going. Will they be able to get him for another Q? SELFIE will come from that middle lane. And I'll tell you what, Mimer really running that one to the deepest levels there. Going in for the one, almost getting himself caught out. Did have a flash available, of course, in case he needed to get away. But this bottom lane, as I was talking about, Zyra, Caitlyn, a lane that, if we think back to the second half of Season 3, really the summer split in there, where the poke of a Zyra, Caitlyn lane would be sometimes unbearable to deal with.
Yeah, and it's going to be very difficult. We've already seen Braum struggling against Threshers in the past. The range and the poke that Thresh can offer in the early stages can really, really punish Braum. And I just had flashbacks of the last game they played against Fnatic. Yero has played Braum in the past, so we'll have to see how well he can perform in this particular matchup. I think he's going to need some jungle assistance from Impaler, especially because Mr. RalleZ and Braum have the ability to be pushed around and punished by Caitlyn's range. We've seen it in the LCS, we've seen it played, and if memory serves, it was Alliance versus SK. For the time being, it's Mr. RalleZ that's got the early poke advantage onto Nyph.
Nice mid lane then. Both players actually playing fairly aggressive himself. We've seen time and time again, he doesn't mess around. Feels like he can do some aggression. He will do, as we are going to see a good flash away from the Q of Elise in there. But again, as we always say, it leaves the mid laner very, very vulnerable. Lucian could just come back around after doing the top side of his jungle and have another go.
Yeah, and especially against a champion like RalleZ, who needs so much time to scale up, needs so many items before he can really run into the middle of a team fight. One of the things that I really liked about SELFIE's RalleZ play when we seen it in the last split was his laning phase was pretty solid. He last hit pretty effectively. He was able to hold his own. But the issue came in terms of his positioning and his flanking power in those mid to late game team fight. So that's really where we need to see if SELFIE's leveled up his performance.
Well, we are going to be finding out because Lucian's coming straight back to the middle and SELFIE's going to go down as a first blood. Impaler though doing a good job. Can he actually get in onto Shook and find a second kill? He's going under the tower. Doesn't he have the damage there from the red buff? Not quite enough. Impaler has to back away. It's a 1-for-1 in mid.
1-for-1, but Shook is the man that gets the bonus gold for that first blood. So trading objectives, Impaler realizing that there was going to be a gank attempt on SELFIE in place for the counter gank play. Coming out even, so decent start for both of these teams. And of course, because the junglers secure the kills, we'll have to see who can make use of that gold in future ganks more effectively.
So top lane then, something that we've not really looked too much on apart from that hairy start for Mimer where he almost went down, let's say. He did have his flash available, so I don't want to say it was a clear-cut almost death there for him at the start. Struggling a little bit against Wickd in the top lane, although keeping up on CS as well, but being bullied somewhat by Wicked's Lulu on this top side of the map.
Yeah, you really expect the matchup to go in Wicked's favor, thanks to the glitter launch, thanks to the ranged auto attack. So Mimer's doing a pretty good job, I would say very good job, of keeping up in this head-to-head lane matchup. I want to see where Wickd itemizes. We've seen top lane Nunus like Soaz go for the triple Doran's ring into the likes of a Morella Nomicon. But against an Elise and a RalleZ and even a Shyvana who has, you know, decent magic damage once she's in dragon form, I think Athene's and Holy Grail might not be out of the question for Wickd. But like I said, it's still early days, 30 CS, he hasn't backed yet to purchase anything.
Froggen actually moving down towards the death push. Not level 6 yet, so no Destiny to be called in. And in fact, they were both spotted there thanks to that pink ward that was placed earlier by the Supa Hot Crew. And who would have thought it? SELFIE now after going down there for the first blood. No flash still available to him. He's sitting back and allowing his tower and those minions to soak up a little bit of damage and not get caught out of position by Shook again.
Yeah, and he's going to be under quite a lot of pressure until he hits level 6. The wave clear of Froggen on Twisted Fate will always be higher than RalleZ until RalleZ gets access to his ultimate. But you don't ideally want to wave clear every single one of those lanes. That desperate power from RalleZ is very, very crucial in starting fights. And you know, the mobility that it gives you will help him potentially dodge some of the skill shots that Alliance will put down. So, teleport to the top lane for Wickd. He's picked himself up that Fiendish Codex and mirrored by Mimer. So both top laners making it somewhat clear a dragon is not on the cards yet, and mid lane is going to have some fun. Let's see, Cocoon or Sonic Wave, whichever one connects first, probably going to be where this gank comes from, as the yellow card timed out, gold card rather.
And Impaler may use that as an opportunity to get in. Definitely doesn't have a massive cooldown on it. There is the gold card coming in on towards SELFIE. He may go down before Impaler can do anything. He will fall. It's Froggen that gets that kill. And just a little bit slow off the mark was Impaler to get in there and help defend. That's the power of Lee Sin and the Twisted Fate really coming together there for all that damage.
It looked all too easy. I mean, SELFIE was extended in the lane, and Impaler appeared to be backing away. You see Tabzz being jumped on. KaSing and Mr. RalleZ doing a decent job, but I do think that Impaler just reacting a little slowly or thinking the gank wasn't going to be there. So Alliance with a good repeat before SELFIE's flash is available and an easy kill.
So that leaves it 2-1 then. Almost 1,000 gold the lead for Alliance in these very early stages of the game. We know that Supa Hot Crew in that mid lane in particular needed a bit of time to get things going. SELFIE does have his tier picked up now, so he's going to start stacking that one up. We'll see at what point he can actually get that one done and start moving on towards those other items. Up until now, actually staying very level with Froggen, considering the fact that he's died twice in this mid lane.
Yeah, to be fair, the ganks have also slowed Froggen's farming down. You know, he was trying to set up a gold card before Shook got there, missed a couple of creeps, and then obviously had to go in for the kill. So decent CSing. By no means on track for any sort of record here today, considering Froggen broke the CS record last week. But I think, you know, the most impressive story is the fact that Mimer's doing very well in CS against Wickd. The Negatron Cloak's going to be helping out. And I also think that Mr. RalleZ and KaSing have done a good job in the 2v2 matchup, with SELFIE roaming down to the bottom. No ultimate available. They've gone in on Nyph.
They're going to go for Nyph, and I think he's dead. He's going to be one more ultimate attack needed, and came actually from SELFIE over on the side there. just with that roam down, SELFIE not really having to do anything in that fight apart from maybe that one last auto attack to get himself a kill. Nicely done either way by the bottom lane of the Supa Hot Crew to set that up.
Very, very good play by SELFIE. Just walks in, actually secured the kill with that rune prison on his W, which is about 110 damage.
Not much more than his auto attack either way.
No, definitely not. But, you know, a good initiation from KaSing. He did burn his flash and his ignite for that. So Shook should be aware of the lack of summoner spell in the bottom half of the map. But the disengaged power from that Glacial Fissure can definitely turn things around if KaSing gets jumped on. So first item secured for Mr. RalleZ. He's actually gone for the BF sword. And the only reason I highlight that is Tabzz on Caitlyn has beaten an Infinity Edge Lucian previously by going the Infinity Edge build himself. And we'll see if Mr. RalleZ can perform better with a potential or an assumed same build.
Yeah, I mean, whether he's just going to say, okay, get a BF sold now, put some dominance down in this bottom lane and move on, but that also slows down his overall build. We'll see about that. Most AD carries, that's for sure, have been saying, you know, it is Blade of the Ruin King, Ghostblade, the way to go at this point in 4.10 for Lucian. Mr. RalleZ may have done some own little research, crunching of numbers and what have you, to prove against that one either way. Tabzz has also now picked up a BF sword. A lot more common, I think, at this stage for that Caitlyn to be going Infinity Edge first.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I would dare say that in terms of the European ADCs, Mr. RalleZ is top 3, if not top 2. So if anybody is going to go for a sort of slightly different Lucian build in terms of maybe the eye edge and be successful with it, he's probably one of the few that can pull it off. But I do want to see how the rest of his itemization goes. He could always, you know, surprise everybody and build something different. Nevertheless, Dragon is respawned, memory serves, or just started off here for Supa Hot Crew. No challenge from Alliance until Destiny. Supa Hot Crew are well timed, but he has a teleport as well.
That was a great flash from KaSing. Dragon is going to be going over towards the Supa Hot Crew, but Mr. RalleZ focus. Shook following him through after the kick there as well. TP was actually cancelled in the top lane for Mimer, and now the Supa Hot Crew, one by one, going to be picked to pieces. So double kill in the end for Shook. 3 kills overall. Supa Hot Crew did manage to pick up the Dragon in that though.
Absolutely decimated by Alliance. Oh, Impaler, he's got caught.
Oh, good little repel, but is he going to be able to get away from the damage?